Hey, Flash fans, time to talk a little women's lacrosse. We've got Coach Tierney here with us in advance of a big game here on Saturday at Dick Stadium. And Coach, first and foremost, thank you for making some time. And while I do want to say thank you to the Ace Sun for allowing us a place to play for a few years. Welcome to the Mid American Conference. It's good to have every team under one roof.
It's awesome. I think that's so important for our team and for building tradition here and getting this thing rolling and is just going to help lacrosse grow in this area.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, there's a few affiliate members. I know that Robert Morris out of Pittsburgh, who we saw earlier this year. I believe Youngstown State is in the Mid American Conference. We've grown it to 6 teams, which is exciting. And this is one of the fastest growing sports in college across the board, and I think even beyond, going into the youth and high school level as well. Am I incorrect in making that statement?
Yeah, and absolutely continues to be. I think in this pandemic time, we maybe could have seen a stoppage in that, but Eastern Michigan is still adding either next year or the following year and joining the conference, and Youngstown State's in their first year of the program. So I think we just continue to grow, continue to provide more opportunities, and just a good sport to be a part of right now.
Well, let's focus on the game at hand here this week, because Kent State fans know all too well the rivalry when you're facing the school down the road. So how have you been able to kind of impress that on your team, on the players in the first institution of it in women's lacrosse?
That's a great question. I think, it was really important for us to be a part of the first MAC lacrosse game ever in our face-off against Robert Morris. And I don't think I have to say much about this one to the girls. I think they know the importance of this. They know the wagon wheel. They know, kind of getting into what we're headed towards on Saturday. And there's a lot on the line here, and we're facing off against a 3-1, I believe, Akron team, and we're going in 0-4, and I think there's more to that than maybe the rivalry, but it's going to be a good one. We missed the opportunity to play them last year. We got shut down before we were set to face off in that game, and so this is our first challenge against them, and we're really excited for it. I think we're just excited to show what we can do and what we've learned in the last 4 games, and to continue to improve.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the first ever Mid American Conference game, and you guys getting to be a part of that. I know I was working with Taylor in the conference to try to build that up and capture as many moments of that as possible. But it's a seminal moment in the conference history. Just talk a little bit about the impact that had on the team, and just being a part of conference history.
Sure. For me, I think the beauty of being a startup program is you get a whole bunch of firsts, right? And aside from that first year, in 2019, it's been a while since we had a first again, and so being able to have that first and be a part of it, and maybe the score doesn't quite as matter as much looking back from a historical perspective, besides that we were a part of that, and getting to be a part of history is exciting. And I read some things that happened in 1946 when the MAC started to the girls versus things that are happening in 2021, and the historical events that took place. And obviously we've come such a long way, and certainly a long way in women's sports. So, putting that kind of in perspective, and getting that historical label to that game is exciting and valuable. And that's why they decided to be a part of a startup program, right? It's because of those first. That's part of the reason some of these young ladies came here. And so, that was what they signed on for, and certainly they made us proud.
Absolutely. It was a really cool moment, and I was glad to be able to witness it. And you made a lot of fans out of a lot of our photographers. I will say that he's like, I had not had a chance to shoot a game before. He goes, that was incredible. I didn't realize, like, and you've gotten several instantly hooked guys there that are going to be a mainstay now at your game. So I wanted to share that with you, that you've made an indelible mark on our UCM photographers.
That's awesome, and I think that's the case in a lot of ways with people. Is you get them to a first game, and it's not what they expect, or not what maybe they thought lacrosse was, and and suddenly they get an itch for it.
Well, you mentioned not getting a chance to play Zippy last year, and that would have been for many reasons a really cool game. Obviously, it was a two teams that were 12 miles apart playing 500 miles away. I believe you guys were playing in Baltimore in a stadium that bears your family's name. So obviously that was a disappointment. Is there talks to give you guys another shot at that, to make something like that happen here in the next few years, as things
Sure.
slowly but surely get a return to normalcy?
And a return to normal is hopefully imminent here. And
Right.
yeah, I was really excited for that game, and getting the opportunity to play in a stadium named after my dad is incredible. I'm so proud of all the things he's done and accomplished. I think more importantly for me, it was getting the opportunity to coach in front of him, because he was going to be at that game as well with he was going to bring his team out, because they were playing at Georgetown and we're in town, so they were going to come out and kind of be our fans for the day. So would have been a really cool opportunity, and I think all things had kind of aligned to make that happen. And then the world's kind of stopped for a minute here, and so yeah, U.S. Lacrosse provides so many opportunities for teams to play in that stadium and to use that facility, and it's top notch. We have some teammates who are from that area, so I would definitely like to get down there and kind of spread the word about Kent State to the Baltimore area as well. I think getting it down there and playing in front of Maryland fans is going to just spread the growth of what we're trying to do and who we are. So hopefully in the future, U.S. Lacrosse keeps that facility open for teams to kind of have neutral site games and continues to provide that opportunity. And yeah, we get an opportunity to play at Tierney Field eventually.
Well, you mentioned it. It's slowly but surely we're getting some fans back in, albeit passless, but it is a step in the right direction. For those that don't know, your dad is the men's coach at Denver, but
Yeah.
but you grew up in a lacrosse family. This has been everything that kind of you've known. I believe that's a fair statement to make. Just what kind of impact, and how does he still provide advice, both life or lacrosse coaching wise, as you kind of venture off on your own in this startup adventure?
Sure. It's funny because my whole family has become involved in not only his games, but my games, my sister's high school basketball games that she coaches, my niece's 9-year-old soccer games that get live streamed now. I think, in the pandemic, everything is more accessible. We're all over the country. I have a brother in Oregon, a brother in Colorado, my sister's in New Jersey, and we're out here. So, the family group texts post game, no matter what, have become full on coaching critiques for my dad, myself. Again, my niece's 9-year-old soccer team. What is that coach doing? So I think, I was telling the girls the other day, I can't listen to the family group text talk about our stick work anymore. We got to hit our sticks a little bit sharper so that they leave me alone. But so I think it's become in this COVID time, the silver lining is okay, we're really more engaged with each other in a different way than maybe we have been in the past. And so, good, bad, or otherwise, I think everybody's got an opinion in this family. so kind of long story short, we are super involved, and you know, I think that's been a great thing for me. The feedback is awesome because it's so honest, right? And certainly, my dad has been through every scenario possible in his tenure of coaching, and he's coached at the Division I level for a really long time. And so that's been great. And he has answers pretty much for everything except COVID testing, pandemic rules, what we're doing with our team. So we've been kind of going through this together, and sharing what departments are doing, and kind of comparing and contrasting notes in this way. So it's been a different experience this year than past years, but he's always kind of the one I reach out to for everything, and the one who provides the most feedback and the most resources for me.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's a fantastic resource to have. And I've talked with some other coaches in this similar setup, and I'll ask you the same thing. Have you found that a different, kind of a preferred way of doing things now, that everything's kind of gone remote and gone digital, and just going, well, we never had to do it this way before because we never thought that this would be better? As much as things have stunk over the past year, has anything that you kind of found worked? Oh, this is actually way easier and way better. This is something I'm going to implement for going forward with my team.
That's a great question. I think in the fall, when we were in kind of small groups for practice, we did see a lot of growth and a lot of improvement. We've always done individual work and kind of set aside time for that, but this year was more mandated. So, I think that provided a lot of good, valuable skill work for the team, and certainly was something we'll hang on to in the future. One of my favorite things, we've a Zoom call with a parent of one of our players week, because they don't have the tailgate time or the time after games to hang out and socialize with the team. We haven't had the opportunity for players to get to know our families. And I think that's an important part of this program, and certainly has been in the past. And so we do a Flash Family Zoom every Friday with one of the parents and the whole team, and they get to know and ask questions about their teammate, or about the parents' experiences, or just get to know what they do, or their past in sports, or just a funny story about their daughter. And that's been really cool and really fun. And Zoom is what it is. It can get tough and overwhelming for the team at times, because they're all Zoom all the time, all online. But I think those interactions have been really special so far. So I'm excited to continue those throughout the rest of the season.
And how much of it is getting to know the family and getting to know the player better, and how much is trying to find some embarrassing stories to hold teammates accountable as the year goes on?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. And the embarrassing stories are definitely what link the team, whether they're from traveling, from practice, from being in hotels together, from family stories. It's we're missing out on some of those key interactions as a team, certainly the hotels and the traveling right now. So getting an opportunity to find out those embarrassing stories a different way is really great, and parents don't hold back. So hoping to get my mom or dad on there at some point and sharing the embarrassment as well here soon.
Well, and that's just it. When we do the senior days and we talk to the student athletes about their favorite memory playing fill in the blank sport, no one's going to remember a regular season game in the middle of their sophomore year by and large, but they're going to remember the stories from that road trip, or or the fact that X, Y, or Z type it happened, and then 10 years later at a wedding, that's going to be brought back up and relived at reunions way longer than wins and losses and things like that.
Absolutely. And there's no doubt. And, I look back on my college experience and I don't remember a lot of games, but I remember a lot of practices. And I remember the kid who had gushers in her pocket at practice. And I remember the blizzards. And I remember, like shoveling the field and just some of those putzing around moments that we had. And so, yeah, I hope that we're providing those for this team. And I certainly think they're a great group of girls and they have a lot of fun and they enjoy being together.
Absolutely. Once again, Saturday at 1 o'clock, it is Zippy versus Kent State. The Wagon Wheel is on the line. Just really quick before we wrap up here, what can we expect? I know it's going to be a rivalry game. Always throw the records out, but what can we expect in this first installment of Women's Lacrosse Wagon Wheel Edition?
I think we're gonna play really hard. I mean, these kids are itching for a win, and they are going to fight. I think what we're trying to do offensively is just share the ball and move a ton and wear them out. And then defensively really hone in on some of the things we did really well at Cincinnati, and kind of try and hold the score down on our defensive end and really push offensively and see if we can get more goal scorers and see if we can't up our numbers. I don't think we've scored more than 8 this season. So really trying to get to double digits and really hone in on some of the things we're doing well and try and fix some of the things that we're doing poorly.
Well, Coach, it is a 1 o'clock start. If you're on the pass list, we will see you at Dick Stadium. If not, we will be streaming it like we will all season long. So, Coach, best of luck. Bring home that Wagon Wheel point, and we'll be cheering you on.